I do lot of hoes.
Alrighty, welcome back, guys. My name is Jordan. Most of you know me as Supernatural 001. I was the GM of Talisman of Noxus for the past few months, but I haven't had time to be an active admin. So now I'm making videos to teach people how to get their server up and running and how to edit things. This video, we are going to be showing you how to create a buff. A buff is an item, as well as what we consider a buff is it's an item. But when you use it, it becomes an effect. So that's why we'll be making the item, and then we'll be making the effect that that shows when you actually use it. You know, you get that change, that more HP, that more move speed, more damage, whatever your buff is set up to be. So first, since we already created our item in a previous video, we're just going to double check everything. So we have the item ID, we have the buff. 100 is the unique ID for a buff. 5 for party means all classes can use this buff. It's default color 3, so it'll be with a golden color. D-bit PK drop doesn't have any effect, but I just leave it there. You can make that 0 blank if you wanted. Buff can be traded, put in the warehouse. Point shop. You're not putting my buff in the auction. What the hell? Delete the buff? Sure. Use type 2. You can stack them up to 99. All right. So when you're making a buff, there will be 2 columns that you set up so that it relates to the actual effect of the buff. So here, if we go to our effect, we have a line set up for effect ID 4000. So effect, and then the ID is in the middle, 4000. And then if we go over here, we have add effect again, and column CV, launch self, 2020. I believe the 20 is, I believe this is for 20 minutes. I don't remember off the top of my head. We'll see once we get into the game. I'm pretty sure this is saying that the effect will last 20 minutes long, and then we have the icon. So the item is created. We have the item description here. So we're going to configure our effect to have 10% HP, dodge, damage, and damage absorb. So let's go into effect line. Let me copy the top line here so that we can see what each column is referring to. So M type, always want to make sure that it matches the ID. Just make sure it matches. All right, so level 1, you can use the buff. Disable self remove. No, that would mean that if you have it as a 1, that means they can right click it and remove it. Overlay on same level, 0. All right, benefit 2. Okay, here we go. So we are going into the actual configuration of it, and that's in before loading self temp. So our buff is add max HP rate 0.10. Add, I think it's dodge rate. I would have to double check. I think it's dodge rate 0.10. Add damage rate 0.10. Add this one is shit. Damage absorb is a weird name. Let me go to damage real quick. Add damage. Delta damage is critical strike damage. So it's add damage, and then we're looking for I'll find it real quick and then I'll show you. But this is not damage rate, it's add damage. 0.10. All right, give me one moment. Okay, so I found it. I was a little off. So for damage, there's 2. It's damage and damage rate. I can't, top of my head, I can't explain the difference of the 2. Damage is obviously damage, and then damage rate is, this isn't critical strike damage, because critical strike is the delta, you see right here, it's is delta critical rate and delta critical damage. Those are for crit strike rate. This is purely normal damage. I don't know, it's hard for me to explain the difference. I just know that they're both needed to work properly. And so you see there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is referring to the attribute damage. So 1 is like fire, water, poison, Buddha, whatever. 0 is all. Pretty much saying that your damage all around will be increasing. And because the effects are like this, like not just for buffs, but for pets and stuff that are like this, you don't see that this damage effect, this damage correlate in your statistics. So like when you're looking at all your stats, like your dodge, vitality, all that, that's why this doesn't correlate like this, because this isn't a fixed rate. This is a percentage. Same thing with max HP rate. That's why. So that's like that. So we did damage and then damage absorb. Damage absorb is delta damage rate. So again, you got and delta damage. So you got delta damage rate, and you see the negative. The negative is referring to it being absorbed. So we are going down here, boom. And because damage absorb isn't a statistic, you won't be able to see it like from a stat, but you would be able to tell that from like if you're getting attacked, you should be able to see the difference. So we got HP, dodge, damage absorb. Let me just make sure I did my the dodge right. Add dodge rate. Yep. Cool. So that effect is set up, and then that's it. That's simple as that. For those who don't know, I copied this basic template from like the Carol buff, any other buff you have in your game. Now I'm not talking about a pill, like a apothecary pill. Get a buff, like the Thanksgiving buff, or most servers have the aura of elemental 7 stars buff, whatever. Copy that and just adjust accordingly. But yes, I put all my stats in that folder, and then I'm going to edit the effect description as well. So when you use the buff, it shows up at the top right, like where if you had your pet and all that as. If you click the icon, if you hover over the icon, what is listed in this file will show up there. So we will do. I usually just copy the same thing I have in the item description because I'm lazy. So I'll put the item. Oh, cool. And that is it for a buff. It's really simple. You edit the item and you edit the effect. And this is pretty similar to making the pet as well. You'll make the pet in the item, you'll make the pet in an NPC, and then for the effect, which is the skill, so to speak, that the pet has, you add in here. So like real quick, I don't know, I'm boosting it real quick. Pet's gonna be its own video, but like we can do like 4002. We'll do donate pet 4002, and then pets are a bit different. So in here you would change a bunch of things. Well, for these type of things like damage, critical strike, dodge, block, you keep it like this. But for skills like mana recovery, HP recovery, defense, they are set up different. They are you would write add master skill, master effect, and then the effect that is set up in the original skill. So the original effect's already made. You just gotta find that effect ID and copy the formula that makes the effect happen. And then you do that for all the normal skills like HP recovery, mana recovery, defense, auto pick, whatever. And then if you want to add newer skills to that same pet, like damage, max HP rate, dodge, block, critical strike damage, whatever, you set it up normally how you would do any other effect. So this formula works for everything, for pets, for weapons, for items, whatever. The only thing is for pet skills itself, they are set up differently. The formula starts out differently. But we will get into that when we actually get into the making pet video. Thanks for watching though. I didn't mean thanks for watching. Forgot we gotta we're gonna input these updates in our server, and then we're gonna log in and we're gonna try to use the buff. All right, guys, welcome back. This is our second portion of the video for creating our buff. As you see here, we created a buff at 10% HP, dodge, damage, and damage absorb. If you want to check out what we got, you can dodge is the only thing here that you would be able to see. But so far, look, our dodge is 113%. Let's check out maybe a normal. We got like 13k, 13k, 13k. So with our buff, it should jump up to like 15k. So let's check it out. Oh, the HP increase. We are at 113, 123. The dodge decrease, and look, the damage increase. So our buff is successful. Pretty easy to create a buff. And as I said in the item file, how it was like the buff, the effect ID 2020. 20 was referring to that's how long the buff is. But you can make the buff as long as you want, however. But yeah, so buff was pretty easy to configure. Thanks for watching.